1059 The Region, in partnership with RE/MAX Prime Properties, present On the Market, real estate advice that works for you. Have a real estate question? Call us at 416-335-1059. Tweet us at 1059 The Region or email us at info@1059theregion.com.
This is 1059 The Region, and I'm Tina Cortez, and welcome to On the Market, York Region's exclusive radio real estate show. My co-host and our real estate expert is Asif Khan with RE/MAX Prime Properties. Good morning, Asif, and you have today's first guest.
I do, and we're going out to Victoria, BC. We have Tony Joe, broker, owner of RE/MAX Island Properties. Tony, welcome back.
Thanks for having me back, Asif and Tina.
Tony, there's so many different takes on what's happening with the market, and we're seeing a bit of a shift, but I would like to call it a typical shift for March and April. What are you guys seeing out in BC, and are you seeing a bit of a slowdown? Are you being hammered with this shift? Let me know what you guys are thinking.
Well, there's no question that there is a change. I mean, we always knew that at some point in time, the craziness of the bidding wars and the multiple offers and all those things would have to slow down. So, while some have said, oh my goodness, things are slowing down, what I've been basically describing it as is going from a supernova just downgrading to white hot. So at the end of the day, when we compare it to what we're used to seeing the rest of the time, still a busy market. It's just not as nuts as it was, even a month ago.
Now, last year, throughout the year, we talked about the lack of inventory. Is that still an issue on the West Coast?
Absolutely. And, here in Victoria specifically, it's all across the board. So it's detached houses, it's condos, it's townhomes, even vacant land. One of the issues with a smaller geographic marketplace is that we just have fewer properties. And in Victoria, as much as virtually all the markets across Canada have been busy, Victoria has been extra busy because we've had a lot of migration from people from the Lower Mainland and also from the GTA who've just decided to take on, a quiet lifestyle, and it's getting pretty busy over here as far as population is concerned.
And we're seeing that here as well, because we've got about 1 month of inventory, and that is a drastic change from the half a month of inventory or the 0.75 months of inventory. Now we're hitting 1.08 months of inventory in some areas. There's about 3 or 4 areas that still have less than a month of inventory. What do you attribute this perception that there is a major slowdown coming or a correction?
Well, actually the first thing that we should talk about is Victoria never had half a month of inventory. So even in this busy time, we've always had a month or a month and a half. So, people here feel, oh my goodness, it's a crazy time, there's no inventory. They had no idea what's like in other marketplaces with, half a month. So, we've got to harken back or think back to normal times when we were used to having 3 months or 4 months of inventory. And, that is a normal, maybe even call it healthy market where buyers had selection and where sellers are still selling. And, again, right now we're just in this crazy phase, which we know will have to end at some point. But, I'm going to say that it's not the slowdown or the precipice that many people might think it is.
And I think that was my next question was, would you call this a bit of a cooling off of the market? And do you think if it is, will that help in terms of affordability?
Yeah. So affordability, no. Like that is it's never going to change, because Victoria is after Vancouver and Toronto as far as prices are concerned. It's a very expensive place for a small marketplace. We're still missing a lot of amenities, like this. We were talking before getting on the air here, sports teams and, shopping and all that stuff. Yet people still want to be here. The thing is, affordability, even when we look at market areas like Winnipeg or Thunder Bay or some of these other places where prices are low, there are still affordability issues, right? So it's all kind of relative. Things will never be cheaper here. I don't think they'll be cheaper in the GTA either, or the Vancouver area.
And Tony, it's looking at the economics, right? It's supply and demand, and demand just did not dry up overnight. We still have the same amount of people looking for homes as they did just before the interest rate hike, and we're still going to have, we're going to be faced with more people coming in looking for homes when immigration opens up. And if you're looking at supply versus demand, that equation hasn't changed. So where are these reports coming from of this major pullback?
Yeah, we can't see it, and this is the thing. Asif, you and I, we are boots on the street. We are people that are serving clients on a daily basis. We are seeing the demand. We're seeing the frustration and the tears that people have, buyers when they can't, find properties. There are no signs. There would have to be significant economic shifts that would cause any sort of major change. Now, we know that there's going to be interest rate hikes. I think we all are expecting April 13th that there's going to be another rate hike. There's going to be a couple more as well, too. But that hasn't caused the market to dry up. I mean, we can't forget about the fact that our markets are not driven by people entering the marketplace, first-time buyers. Most of the people out there their equity has grown in their existing home, and they're moving from one house to the next. They've got equity. They're not really reliant on the shift of the interest rate. And, I think if there was any sort of dry up, and if there was any sort of drop off in the real estate business, there would be a lot of other problems economically in the country that people would be more concerned about than just the real estate side of things.
And Tony, what can you tell us about the Homeowners Protection Bill?
Well, here in British Columbia, the provincial government is talking about implementing a mandatory cooling off period. Because, of course, again, buyers are frustrated. They've had to make offers, sometimes sight unseen, often without conditions, no subject to financing, no building inspection, none of that. And the provincial government wants there to be a protection in place where buyers can have say 7 days or so where they can change their mind. So we have that here in new developments. I believe you guys have it in Ontario too, right, Asif? They have right of rescission.
Going off here for condos, yes.
Yeah. So they're talking about this for resale homes as well. It's a really interesting concept. Our provincial association, the British Columbia Real Estate Association, they do not agree with this. They actually are lobbying for a mandatory marketing time for sellers so that sellers are not able to look at offers for whatever it is, 7 days or 10 days, enabling consumers to do their due diligence. The problem with a mandatory cooling off period is we are going to see people making offers on 5, 6, 7 different homes and even securing 5, 6, or 7 properties, waiting until the 7th day to drop all but one. So there's going to be a lot of sellers who are basically hanging by a thread, wondering what's going on, not knowing their house is sold, combined with the fact that there's going to be a whole bunch more offers on properties because there is no repercussion if a buyer changes their mind. So it's a very tenuous situation. And let's not forget here, it only really is for a market where there are unconditional offers. There are still offers out there that are subject to financing, subject to building inspection. That will always remain the same. So what the government wants to do, I find it very interesting.
And interesting it is because they're, I'm not sure they're taking the seller's point of view into this, because I wouldn't be surprised if there's a seller protection bill introduced in order to send it off.
Well, and this is the problem, because people often forget there are two sides to every real estate transaction. The real estate community, like you and I, we represent buyers, we represent sellers. So there always seems to be this narrative out there with consumers that, the real estate community, they just want to drive prices up. Hey, we are the ones that are working with these frustrated buyers. I personally, I would love if we had more inventory overnight. I could probably triple my productivity and help a lot more people buy. I'm not having fun writing offers 10 times for the same client. So it's not fun for us either. But on the flip side, we also need to protect the interests of our sellers, right? And this happens to be a seller's market.
Yeah, and I was joking with, half-heartedly joking that when I'm representing a buyer, I want to put up a sold under asking sign and represent them properly. But Tony, we've just completed the first quarter. Just before you go, let our listeners know what you think is going to happen in Q2 of 2022.
I think that we are going to continue coasting along, perhaps at this kind of reduced rate here. There's still a lot of demand. The demand hasn't changed. People still want to move. Moving remains on top of mind awareness for most consumers right now. And that's not going to change, even when the interest rates go up. So I feel that the numbers will remain kind of consistent to what we've experienced in the past month. Maybe not as hot and heavy as it was in January, but this should continue all the way through the rest of the year. And it's going to take a lot for us to become a balanced market. Don't even mention a buyer's market. That's not going to be for some time.
And you're always a wealth of information. Thank you for joining us once again. And if people want to connect with you about what's happening in BC or to make that move to Victoria, how do they connect with you?
You can always reach out to me. I'm at the Prime Real Estate team at Remax Island Properties. It's Tony at primeteam.ca. Or you can follow my Instagram. It's legendary_Tony Joe.
And legendary you are. Thanks so much for joining us, Tony.
Thanks, Asif and Tina.
Take care. After the break, the background check on the home. This is On the Market on 105.9 The Region. Stay with us.
Need to connect with Asif Khan from Remax Prime Properties? Call him 416-985-KHAN. That's 416-985-5426. Or email asif@thehomeshop.ca. Now, back to On the Market on 105.9 The Region.
Welcome back to On the Market, York Region's exclusive radio real estate show on 105.9 The Region. Over to my co-host and our real estate expert, Asif Khan from Remax Prime Properties, with today's next guest. Asif.
Thank you, Tina. Joining us next and returning to the show is Amr Rafiq, co-founder of Souk. Amr, welcome back.
Thank you, Asif. Appreciate it. Thank you again for having us.
Amr, I was playing around on the Souk website and I came across a home history report, and I just thought it was awesome. And tell us a little bit about what it is and how we can get them.
Yeah, for sure. I know last time we talked a lot about the challenges that Souk is resolving for home buyers, but a lot of homeowners struggle managing a lot of the services and documentation pertaining to the services over time. And the home history report really allows any homeowner to keep a track of all the services that they've completed in their home, who did them, when did they do them, the warranties, the associated to it, the invoices. So everything is all available at their fingertips. So 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road, if they're ever looking to sell their home or they're looking to find all the services that were completed in their home, they can find it right on Souk. Very similar to a car history report that allows you to, automatically keep track of pretty much all the services done on your car.
So, Amr, can I ask you, who conducts the report and how is it different from a home inspection?
Yeah, so because Souk is a transactional marketplace, homeowners can actually transact with many different service providers. And when they transact with these service providers, there's documents associated to those transactions, there's invoices for payment, and essentially what Souk does is it records all of those transactions that the homeowner has engaged in over the course of the years that they've, done services on Souk. And it's an electronic report that they can generate completely free on Souk so that they can share it with their realtor or with any other home services professionals that come to service their home.
This would be great for, especially when someone's selling their home, to be able to provide exact dates and warranties on things they've changed, like roofs, furnaces, anything like that. How has the consumer reacted to this type of report being available to them?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We heard stories from consumers where, they've stored paper trails of a lot of different services, and sometimes their basement has flooded or they just have such a hard time finding, warranties and invoices from years ago. And one of the, homeowners actually told us, hey, I don't need to, manage this big binder that I used to with all the invoices. that my wife and I were always struggling to find. They could just go to Souk for all the services that they complete, and any of them can just go and download that home history report anytime.
And does the home history report include other issues, beyond repairs?
No, it's actually just limited to the services that a homeowner engages in with service providers on Souk. And what differentiates Souk with all of the other traditional marketplaces is that you can transact on Souk. So you can sign documents, you can share documents, you can have conversations, you can make payments. So what the home history report does is it basically combines all of those transactions in one place, so the homeowner can keep track of all the services in their home.
And Amber, any thoughts on adding an insurance aspect to this with insurance claims or repairs that have been done through insurance companies so that people have a true picture on, was there a flood? How was it repaired? Because oftentimes people will say, there was water damage and we fixed it. But with a database or a storage place, something like what Souk is offering for the home history, it documents everything and tells you who conducted the repairs and if it's a reputable company or not. So I think it would make people feel a lot more comfortable.
Yeah, that's a great point, Asif. We're actually actively working with a few insurance brokers already to bring them onto Souk. And the benefit that Souk would provide to them is they would be able to look at, number one, the company that had completed the service. All of the documents associated to a transaction are all consolidated in Souk. They could request access from the consumer. So it also saves a lot of that email back and forth. And for example, if the insurance company requires further information, they don't have to be dependent on the consumer only. They can actually get in touch directly with the company because you could see a 360 customer profile when you work with any particular customer on Souk, and you could actively engage with the service providers that they've used for any of their previous services.
And any chance that you have, maybe a story or two to share with us about someone who has gone through the process of a home history report?
Yeah, there's actually a person recently that shared the story of how a lot of the documents that he has stored over the years had actually been ruined because of a flood in their basement. And now that they're using Souk to find, the plumbers to do the repairs, the companies that are coming to do the restoration, they don't any longer need to, keep history of physical documents. Everything is available for them on Souk, completely, safe and secure documents stored over the cloud. They could access it from their phone, from their computer, and they really appreciate the convenience that Souk is providing to them.
For the consumers that are listening right now, or even for the realtors that are listening right now, how easy is it for them to create an account on Souk? What's the process, and how do they begin storing these documents for their clients or having their clients store these documents for future sales?
Yeah, so clients or any of the industry professionals, they can go to souk.ca. They're able to create their accounts for free. Registration for an account takes less than 60 seconds. If a consumer, such as a home buyer or an owner, wants to create their own independent account and use this as a way to track everything relating to their home, they can do so just by themselves. Or if a realtor, for instance, wants to invite their clients, we've heard stories where realtors have shared with us that, Souk was a gift that they were able to give to their clients to manage not only their buying journey, but also their ownership journey. And realtors, once they sign up, similar process for them takes less than 60 seconds when they go to souk.ca or joinsouk.com. They can register for a free account, and they can actually start transacting with clients, inviting their own clients and giving them a much more digitized experience for their home buying and ownership needs.
And does it cost anything for the homeowner to sign up for these, or if a realtor is signing up their clients, what is the cost involved?
Yeah, great question. Souk is 100% free for any home buyer or owner to use. In fact, we actually offer them credit. So every time a home buyer or owner uses Souk to pay for a service, for example, I used a mover to do my move, we actually offer them credits that they can use for future services, so that the next time they're looking for a cleaner, a painter, a plumber, they can actually save money on those services.
Wow, that's excellent.
Awesome. Emmer, thanks so much. Great info.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us, Emmer. And if people want more information on Souk, SOUQH.ca, how do they get a hold of you?
The best way is using our website. We have our live concierge service live chat, or they can send us an email at hello@souk.ca.
Awesome. Thanks so much, and we look forward to having you on again.
Thank you, Asif and Tina.
When we come back, your real estate questions and the hot listing, brought to you by Souk, simplifying the homeownership experience. This is On the Market on 105.9 The Region.
Need to connect with Asif Khan from RE/MAX Prime Properties? Call him 416-985-KHAN. That's 416-985-5426. Or email asif@thehomeshop.ca. Now, back to On the Market on 105.9 The Region.
Welcome back to On the Market, York Region's exclusive radio real estate show on 105.9 The Region. Time now for our listener questions, and we begin with Emmy in Markham. She writes, I intend to downsize and leave my large 2-story family home, but I'm worried that a condo may be a shock to my system. Is a townhome a better option to help me transition? And what is the average price point for a townhome in York Region these days? Asif, lots of questions in there.
Great questions, and it really depends. For price points, it really depends on what type of townhome it is. You've got stacked townhomes, you've got interior townhomes, corner townhomes, so it really depends on if it's an end unit, then it's treated as a semi pretty much, and you've got access to the backyard easier, things like that. So again, we would have to determine what size you want, what type of area you want, what amenities you need to be around, and then I can drill down and give you specific price points. Roughly for townhomes in York Region, they're ranging anywhere from about $850,000 up to over $1.3 million. So it really depends, is it a 3-story townhome? What type of square footage? It certainly is a better transition to go from a detached 2-story to a townhome prior to going to a condo, but you may get a deal on some larger condos as well. So we can certainly chat and point you in the right direction.
And are all townhomes multi-story? Is she looking at least a minimum of 2 or 3 floors in this home?
Yeah, in some townhome complexes, sometimes the end units may be, one single story or with a basement, but it really depends. Most will be 2 or 3-story townhomes, and then you have the stacked ones. So some of the stacked townhomes, you can get a main floor unit, and then there's another townhome on top of yours with 2 stories. So it really depends on where you want to be and what type of square footage you're looking for. Because with the stacked townhome, sometimes the one on the main floor is a lot smaller than the others.
Okay, our next question comes from Ben in Richmond Hill. He plans to rent out his basement to help pay down the mortgage. What does he need to know, and what does he need to do to prepare to manage a tenant?
Again, great questions, and they're, again, multifaceted because it depends on your basement apartment. Is it equipped with safety equipment like larger doors, larger windows, fireproofing, things like that, because those may come in handy if you do have a basement that's been retrofitted with all the rules and regulations from the fire department. You can also get the fire department to come in and take a look and tell you what you need. So sometimes you'll get more rent if you do have a basement that's retrofit and it does go along with all the fire codes and everything for a basement apartment. The other thing that you want to look at is the parking situation. And, will the basement tenant have a car? Will they need a car? Is it a single driveway, double driveway, so that they're not blocking people in? So there's, again, lots of questions to answer with the rental of the basement. And in terms of managing the tenant, you would have to have a lease drawn up, so a realtor would be able to help you with that. You want to make sure that you're doing the proper background checks and credit checks to ensure that you get the right people in there. Call their place of employment, check out their payment history, make sure that you're going to get paid and that this is not a professional tenant. So Google is your best friend when you're looking at tenants as well. And, make sure you do all of the checks and balances to make sure that you're putting the right person in your house, because this person is actually moving into your home. And that's going to go a long way in having a happy relationship with the tenant as well. And then what about utilities? Because you won't have separate meters or anything for the basement apartment. you need to come up with a split and see what the basement tenant will be contributing towards your utilities as well. So lots of questions, and specifically for each type of tenant, each type of rental that we have in the basement apartment type categories, you want to maybe drill down specifically and ask us those questions once we take a look at the property and see who we can get in there and what price points we can offer.
Wow, so much to think about. As a reminder, you can send your questions anytime to info@1059theregion.com. But Asif, if our listeners prefer to contact you directly, how can they do that?
They can reach me at 416-985-KHON. That's 416-985-5426.
Now, just before we go, the On the Market hot listing brought to you by Souq. That's SOUQH, simplifying the home ownership experience. Asif, over to you.
We've teased this listing as a coming soon in previous shows, and this one is now on the market, 140 Euclid Avenue. It's right around the corner from the Toronto Zoo. It's one street over from the 401, access to transit. It is absolutely a great location. And not only is it a great location, it's on a huge lot, and their lot is about 54 feet by 206 feet deep. So you want to be able to get into this property. It is now on the market. And this one, honestly, will not last. And it has 5 bedrooms, Tina, and the main bedroom is on the first floor. It has a complete 5-piece ensuite, a huge walk-in closet, all hardwood throughout and ceramic throughout this property. There's no broadloom in it at all. Huge formal rooms, living, dining, family room with a gas fireplace. You've got a concrete deck that walks out from the family-sized kitchen. It is absolutely a stunning property. And if that wasn't enough, there's a 2-bedroom suite with a separate entrance in the basement.
And we just spoke about an income property a little bit earlier in the show, so here we are. One more time, the highlights of this property, the list price, and where our listeners can get more information. And again, the huge lot, 54 by 200 plus, I think you said.
That's right, and it's 140 Euclid Avenue. It is in West Hill, Toronto, and it is absolutely stunning. It is a gorgeous family home. You can, as soon as you step inside, there's pride of ownership. Even every closet has lights in it. Like they have spared no details. Gorgeous home, large formal rooms, and the highlights would be the main floor bedroom with a complete ensuite and walk-in closet. You've got 4 huge bedrooms upstairs with 2 full bathrooms, and then there's a family room upstairs as well. And then the bonus is the basement with a 2-bedroom complete suite. Huge kitchen down there as well. And I forgot to mention something earlier, Tina. This place has a detached 2-car garage workshop. So This has everything, and it is on the market for $2.488 million, and this is going to go quick.
And if our listeners want more information about the property, where can they get it?
They can contact Heather Cooper at 416-554-3566.
If you missed any part of our show, go to 1059theregion.com or wherever you get your favorite podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Audible. I'm Tina Cortez. Thanks for listening.
Need to connect with Asif Khan from RE/MAX Prime Properties? Call him 416-985-KHON. That's 416-985-5426. Or email asif@thehomeshop.ca.